So now that you kind of have an idea of how surface area works, we're going to start looking at the formulas. And this is going to be without using any of the nets or unfolding or anything. So you can see that we still have our three area formulas, rectangle, triangle, and circle. And we have to add one more here that I forgot to put on. But not only are you going to need to know the area of a circle, you're also going to need to know the circumference of a circle. And that's 2 pi r. And remember, that's kind of like perimeter of a circle. It's finding the outside edge. So the surface area formula is right here. And you won't have to have this memorized. There's a formula sheet in the crate for you to use on all the worksheets and on your test. So you can see some letters that we're used to. Capital B, and remember that's the area of one base. And this h, that's still the distance between the two bases. So that capital B and that h are the same ones that we used for volume. But now you can see we also have a capital P. And capital P is going to be the perimeter of one base. And now I'm going to split these notes up into 2 videos. So this first video is just the front of these notes. And then I'm going to do another video on the back half of the notes so these don't get too long. So the first figure that we start out with is a rectangular prism. So again, you can choose what you want your bases to be, but I'm just going to choose the top and the bottom as my bases. So again, surface area, the formula for surface area is 2 times capital B plus capital P times H. So in this case, since it's a rectangular prism, that means our capital B is a rectangle. So we're going to do length times width. So looking at my base here, it's going to be 6 times 4, which is 24. So that's capital B. Now, capital P is the perimeter of that same rectangle there on the bottom. So I'm just going to do 6 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4. So perimeter is just adding up all 4 sides. So that's going to be 20. And then the height is the same thing that it was for volume. It's the distance between those two bases. So that distance is 10. So now the surface area is going to be 2 times 24 plus 20 times 10. And so when you plug all that into the calculator, you're going to get 248. And this is area, so it's going to be centimeters squared. So that's just the area of all the surfaces. So now if you would have taken the net like we had been doing, and I unfolded this box, and I found the area of each rectangle, there's 6 of them. If I would find the area of all 6 rectangles and add them all up, you would get this same thing. You would still get 248 centimeters squared. But we can use the formula now so we don't have to worry about finding all 6. So that's how we use the formula for a rectangular prism. Now, for a triangular prism, again, since it's a triangle or a right triangle, those are going to be our bases. And I'm just going to color them in just so you can see our 2 bases. That and that. Those are our bases. So, again, our formula for surface area is 2 times capital B plus capital P times H. So, base, since this is a triangle, our base is 1/2 base times height. Now, this h and this h are different. This h just deals with the triangle. This h deals with the prism itself. So they're 2 different values. This, we're just focused on this blue triangle. So it's going to be 1/2 8 times 15, which gives me 60 for capital B. Now, capital P is the perimeter, so just adding up all 3 sides. And I can see 8 and 15, and then that long side up there, that's 17. So I'm just going to add up 8 plus 15 plus 17, and that gives me 40. And then this h is the distance between the 2 triangles. So the distance between my 2 bases is going to be 20. So surface area is 2 times 60 plus 40 times 20. And again, if you would plug that into your calculator, you would get 920. And this is meters, so it's meters squared. Okay? So again, capital B changes, just like it did with volume, capital B changes to be whatever your bases are. In this instance, the bases are triangles. And the last type of prism, I mean, it's not technically a prism, but the last shape to look at here is a cylinder. So again, my bases are the circles. So that's one base, and this would be my other base. That circle down there. And so also we have to think this is my diameter, so that means the radius is going to be 3 feet. It's going to be half. So now, surface area, again, 2 times capital B plus capital P times H. Capital B, now this is a cylinder, so capital B is a circle, so pi r squared. So pi times 3 squared. And when I plug that into the calculator, that's 28.2743, and so forth. But 4 decimal places is enough. Now P, capital P, and this is why we needed circumference. I have to find the perimeter of that circle. And perimeter, we know, in a circle is called circumference. So that formula is 2 pi r. So it'll be 2 pi times 3. When I plug that into the calculator, I get 18.8495. And then my height, that's the distance between the two circles. So height there is going to be 12. So even though the cylinder's laying on its side, this over here, that's not the height. The height, if you go back and look on the first slide, the definition of the height is the distance between the two bases. So it's going to be that distance. So now I can plug this all into my calculator. 2 times 28.2743, and don't round that. Keep those 4 decimal places in there so we can be as close as possible to the right answer. 18.8495 times 12. And when you plug all that in, round it to 1 decimal place, it's going to be 278.5, and then it's feet squared. Okay, so those are your 3 examples of the prisms that you'll see, either a rectangular prism, the box, the triangular prism, or a cylinder. And there's 3 more examples on the back of this, but I'm going to do a different video for that one. So if you want to try to do them on your own first, and then you can check your answers, and then if you're not sure, watch the video, or whatever you want to do. But this is just for the first page, and then I'll start the next video here in a moment.